At Boss, we have a manifesto. We're not just tool makers, we're time liberators. Consider us the intersection of efficiency and innovation. Our mission here is simple. We build new age tools that allow you to work smarter, not harder, because in life, every minute counts. Every tool we make is purpose-built to flip the script. We should all work to live, not live to work. Why? Because we believe in the American dream. We believe in the American worker, and we believe in America the idea. Build a better future faster with Boss. Hey guys, glad you checked in. I am Dan Raymond with Born Here, Built Here. I've got a special guest today, a guy that I've known for quite some time. He's a gentleman that has been in the construction industry, as I'll just say quite some time. We'll let him introduce himself. His name is Mark Cooper. So Mark, where you been, where you at, and where you going? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
As far as the trades go, I own an electrical contracting business, Cooper Electric. I've been in the electrical trades. I looked almost for 40 years. I've been
40 years?
Yeah.
You don't look much older than 40 years old. And you got to give me $20 for that statement.
Exactly.
Okay? No, you look good.
No.
40 years,
I appreciate it. So I got into trades right out of high school. Mm-hmm. So that's been about 40 years. I graduated in 84. And then I started, went to Michigan State, went to the electrical tech program, and I started my own electrical business in 1990. So I've been a contractor since 1990.
Do you remember, because I went in the drywall, metal stud, and acoustical ceiling business as a commercial contractor in 1990, and we were working at Bay City Mall, Bay City, Michigan. That's where I took my leap into figuring out if I could make it or if I could
You
fit.
were working in one store and going across the hall and working at the other store at night.
Absolutely.
I remember when you were doing it.
Yep. I had a full-time job running 3 projects for a union shop out of Flint, Michigan. Yep. And I had heard that the guys were looking for numbers. You know, we want quotes in these jobs. You got all these guys coming in from all over the nation to do, whether it's these probably old names, Radio Shack or Macy's, or the Foot Locker. The list could go on and on. So I just actually what I did is I conned the superintendents out of the numbers that we were doing. Yep. And I was the guy receiving the materials, so I had a list of materials on the projects that we were currently working on, as me being an employee, the foreman's on the job, and I had a time, so the guys, the labor costs of the job. So I accumulated all that, and I said, wow, they make good money. So I dove in, and I would go, as you said, I'd work on one side of the hall. During the day, I'd go get something to eat at the very reputable McDonald's, which I avoid now like the plague because they really don't offer anything good.
That's right.
Of any value. And then I would go back to work, and I would work from 5 o'clock till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, stagger home, sleep for a couple hours, and back on the job. And that was the treadmill I was on. And, yeah, I remember you being there. So at that time, who were you working for?
So I worked for JW Electric out of Frankenmuth for maybe a year or two, and then I went to Helm Electric. And when I worked for Helm, and then I pretty much, when I left there, I was on my own. So I worked for those guys probably up until 92, like not necessarily full-time, but part-time, while I was starting my own company. So what happened was I started doing the same thing you were doing.
Yep.
So the general contractor that kind of picked me up was Horning Construction out of Vassar.
Okay.
And I was doing all of his electrical work, but I was doing it at night. Yep. So he was doing building homes, and I'm going and wiring these homes at night. And it got to where he's finally says, "Hey, you need to stop doing that and jump." And it's to make that jump is kind of nerve-wracking because you don't know what's going to happen. Anyways, so after having some serious conversations with Henry
Horning, that is
Henry Horning,
yep.
I said, all right, here's the deal. I'll jump, but if something goes south, you're going to put me to work pounding nails. Yeah. And he said, yeah, okay, no problem.
So he was a general contractor?
Yes, he was.
Just so everybody understands what a general contractor is, that's a guy that oversees the entire job.
Correct.
He accumulates bids from subcontractors, electrical contractor being a subcontractor, framing contractor possibly being a subcontractor, plumbing, and so on, right?
Yep.
He puts a markup on that, and he oversees the project to make sure it's brought in on time and on budget, correct?
Yep.
Well, that's cool. And then you said Helm Electric. I remember Ed Helm was the owner.
Yep.
He was one of the hardest working people I know.
Yep.
I mean, that guy would work. He would put 2 or 3 or 4 men to shame with the effort that he would put into the project.
Which is true. Yep.
Henry Horning told you to jump.
Yep.
Horning Construction out of Vassar, Michigan. And he's had a long career, and I think as of late he's just retired, right?
He just retired, and he actually sold off everything about 2 months ago. Yep.
I would stop in and see Henry.
Yep.
And matter of fact, I can't give enough credit to Henry Horning because I distinctly remember it's maybe a tough spot in my life, but getting a phone call in the middle of the night, my wife screaming, "Your mom and dad's house is on fire." Mm. I jumped out of bed, and my wife just told me the other day, she says, "I could not believe how fast you were out the door." Well, my mom and dad's house is on fire.
Exactly.
It's cold out, and I remember driving. Obviously, I wasn't holding to the speed limit.
Correct.
And they were a total of 2.5 miles away, and pulling up there, and they made it outside. My dad was in ill health. He was at 79 years old, and they lost everything.
Yep.
Almost 60 years of marriage, they lost everything. And who stepped up to the plate and built them a home? Henry Horning. He did a phenomenal job. He and his guys, I mean, the quality of the home was unbelievable. And, he was a true gentleman because as people get older, my mom and dad included, and I lost my dad a couple years ago, but my dad was there, and they had, being of the age they had a hard time understanding the general contracting practices and stuff. And Henry was he was a superstar.
Sure.
I mean, I would recommend, if he was still in business, I would recommend Henry Horning. Okay, so you jumped in with Henry Horning, and that was your first venture into being your own boss. Totally financially independent.
Correct.
All the time. I mean, jet skiing, and is that the way it goes?
No.
When people go in business, isn't this a laugh?
Yeah.
Okay, so you go in business, right?
Yeah.
You're younger, even though I wasn't just saying you look young now. So you were younger, you had lots of energy, right?
Yeah, back then.
How you still got energy? So
I was about 24 at the time.
24 years old.
Something like that, yeah.
Yep, when I went in business, I was 29, 30 years old, and I hate to admit it, I identify as a 28-year-old now, even though my energy level.
I was going to say 39 for me, but I'll go with 28.
But that's all good. So how many hours would you work? What type of commitment did you have to make, both from a time frame and financially? What type of commitment did you make?
Well, before I jumped in full-time on my own, I would work in a regular 8-hour, 9-hour day, whatever, like you normally would for a company. And then basically did what you did. I'd go home, grab something to eat or something, and I'd go back to work. I'd rewire houses until 11, 12 at night. And most of it I did by myself. I mean, so I was climbing up in the attic, climbing back down the basement, up in the attic, back and forth to get that stuff done. And so I was, when I first started, I was probably spending, 20 hours.
Right.
Easy a day, you know what I mean? Right.
Now, I totally can relate to that. But you talk to people nowadays in 2025, and you start talking to people that I'd like to be my own boss. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking you would like to be your own boss, but do you have what it takes? From your perspective, what does it take? Because obviously you've won. You've been in business for almost 40 years. Yeah. I know you're profitable, and we'll talk more about your hobbies in a second, but what does it take for a person to actually succeed, and specifically in the trades as a trade contractor? What's it going to take? Well,
you mean now or back then?
Let's bring it up to date now.
I guess I would say for now, right now, I'd take the same thing I did back then.
As I was just going to say, I don't think there's really probably much difference, right? So what are they going to have to do? Let's say that I am a guy. First of all, they've got to learn a trade, right?
Sure.
We've got, from what I know firsthand, our VOTEC schools have a lot more interest in the VOTEC program.
They do now. So the government pushed for years after we got into the trades. They pushed college and pencil pushing jobs, whatever you want to call them.
Right.
And so the trades have faltered, and the trades are starting to come back right now.
Right.
But I think and I'm not going to say everybody in the trades, but it seems like the younger generation do not understand exactly what you're just talking about and what it takes to
the effort.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, because there's a huge sacrifice.
Right.
That if you really are going to make it, there's obviously errors in your figuring of the bid. Yep. There's disappointments when you finally accumulate enough money to get an employee. When employees don't show,
exactly.
I find in 2025, because we're still involved in the commercial construction business, that people just don't seem to care about showing up for jobs.
No.
But you do have them winners out. I call them winners. They've got driver's licenses. They've got good moral values. They've got families. And they look to the future, and they say, this is what I got to do, what I have to do. And then some of them actually do figure out there's a lot of money to be made if I'm willing to make the commitment. I tell my sons that are involved in the construction business that if you've got common sense and you've got a great work ethic, the money that's out there right now is absolutely staggering. I know probably the same for you. I used to be able to walk into a 3,000 or 4,000 square foot facility and they say, hey, we're going to gut this thing. We want all new metal stud framing. We want all the walls insulated. We want in-wall blocking. We want you to drywall this thing. And we want an acoustical ceiling in this thing. How long is it going to take and what's it going to cost? I could wing it.
Right.
And I could say, well, it's going to be 12 grand. Nowadays, I mean, you could say 35, 40. I mean, everything has just jumped.
It has.
So
the only thing I shouldn't say the only thing that's changed, but one big thing that's changed to me from that, I used to be able to sit down at lunch with somebody and they'd be going, hey, how much to do this, how much to do that, and you go give them a price on it.
Right.
Basically, all right, do it, start it, go. What's changed about that now is that you got to you might have to bring a lawyer with you sometimes.
Just to make sure you're covered.
Yes.
So you
make sure you get paid.
Isn't it disappointing when you go in and you're negotiating a job in good faith? You've got the drawing in front of you, and it just seems like sometimes nowadays, not everybody, but they know they're going to cheat you.
Right.
They look for a way out, knowing that, you know what, I can skin this guy, and all that does is put more pressure on you and I from a business perspective, because we've got to pay our bills, right?
That's correct.
The supply yard still expects to get paid even though we didn't get paid. Our guys expect a weekly check even though maybe we didn't get a check, because they've got family members, whether it's a girlfriend, a wife, or children, or mom and dad, or a brother and sister that need help. So we have to come up with the money, and it is disappointing. And I can think of lots of occasions in my career where I just sat back and think, he knew what he was doing. He was going to try to skin me.
Yep.
So you got to go into, if you're going to go into business for yourself, you have to go in with your eyes wide open, right?
Exactly.
Knowing that there are people out there that are unscrupulous, that they're more concerned about themselves than being fair and having integrity.
Correct. I think so somebody was wanting to start a business, to kind of answer what you're saying, I think that if they have the credentials to do it, first of all, licensing, whatever, right, and then they are a hard worker, and they have some intelligence, so they understand that, how money works.
Yep, I agree.
You work hard, the money's going to be there. I love collecting money. I don't like chasing money.
Absolutely.
And that's the only thing that I don't really, that's kind of been a bad taste in my mouth in contracting, is sometimes you're chasing money.
Right.
And it seems like in the past, I'm going to say 10 years, that's gotten worse than it was earlier years. But that being said, so somebody wants to get into the trades and actually wants to be their own boss, if they understand that it's not all high pie in the sky and all that kind of stuff, that you are going to have some bad times, but you're a hard worker,
right? You
will make it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
as far as this just popped in my head, as far as not getting paid, this is just shooting from the hip. Are you more likely, in your opinion, to have a harder time collecting from a person that's got a lot of money, or somebody that's just kind of, just starting out in life? What are you thinking?
That's a funny thing, because I think that you are, more apt to not get paid or get slicked by somebody with more money.
I agree with you.
And I don't know why that is, but you'd think it'd be the opposite.
You would.
But you see the homeowner that's house burnt down and they got hardly anything going.
Right.
They'll pay you.
Yeah,
and the guy that's got a multi-million-dollar deal going on, he's penny pinching. And
man, you kind of wonder, did he make all of his money by skinning people? I know we know people because we run amongst somewhat the same group of. And
not everybody's that way.
No, I agree.
I'm not saying that everybody's got money is that way. That's not what I mean. But I'm just saying that in business, if an individual business owner that is what we would say rich is probably more apt to skin you than
I did work for
than a layman.
I just worked for some guys about 100 miles from our facility right here, and this has been a few years ago. L.D. Clark out of Lansing, Michigan. And this was the best guy I ever worked for, but he had absolutely no problem, Larry Clark and his superintendent, telling you Pat Brown was the superintendent's name, about how things were. And I could make a deal with them with no contract.
Yep.
I mean, you go there and you sit down with a set of drawings, and Larry would say, how much is it going to be? $150,000. Never wrote a contract. He'd come in there and say, I want to change this. They want to run a wall across here and do this and that. What's it going to cost, Dan? $50,000. And he was pure gold.
Yep.
One time, this gentleman, we were doing a Crickett's furniture store in Lansing, Michigan, and he came in and there was snow blowing in the job, and it was an interior project. And he just proceeded to rip me up one side and down the other. And I took a stand, and I told him, I'll take it if I got it coming, but if I ain't got it coming, you or nobody else is going to talk to me like this.
Right, sure.
That guy left, and he was back within an hour or two with a check for a partial payment of $43,000. He apologized, and he said, you didn't have that coming, and I thought maybe you needed some money. And I mean, the guy was great.
Yeah, you gotta love that guy.
Yeah, I loved working for the guy. He was a man's man. How many man's men or man out there today?
It's dwindling.
Yeah, and people with and this goes back to people with integrity. You know, if you've got integrity, I know how you are, I know how I am. If we make a deal, even if it costs us money, we're going to do it.
You're going to stand by it.
Yep, we're going to honor our deals. We might have to come home and take a whipping from our wives and say, "Boy, you screwed up. You just lost us $20,000," but we honor our deals. So, what's the future? I mean, you're doing well now. What's the future hold? How do we get more young men and young women involved in the trades, or how does our government, or how do we do this? How do we go about it?
Well, me personally, as far as the government goes, I think the government needs to stay out of it. That's just
good point.
It's private industry, so leave us alone. Just make it easy for me to make money and leave me alone.
Right.
But I think the only thing that you have to communicate to, in the younger generation, when I say the younger generation, I'm going to say probably 25 and less, maybe 30 and less. But anyways, they for right now, it just seems that manual labor, they're either afraid of it or don't understand it or whatever. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that question really, because but I think that if you can communicate to the younger generation about the trades, because there's a lot of guys out there, a lot of women out there too that aren't going to go to college, don't want to go to college.
Right.
They were kind of felt like they were forced to go to college or whatever. And a lot of guys come out of college, they don't have a job, and they end up pounding nails anyways. So when I got into the trades, a lot of my friends went right to a 4-year degree.
Right.
And they said, "What are you going to do?" I says, "I'm just going to go out and get a job and start working."
Right.
Because by the time you make that in that 4-year commitment, I'm going to make about $200,000 or $300,000. Absolutely. Back then, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So you do whatever you want. I'm going to come out. And if you look at where guys that are in the trades like me or you, compared to those guys that didn't, you're probably in front of them.
Absolutely.
You're probably ahead of them.
How many people do you know that have went and they've attained a college education, they've got their 4-year degree, 5-year degree, whatever it might be, and they actually don't make money in what they studied college at?
The percentage is probably 90%. They're making money, but they're in something else.
In something else.
Yeah, they're not in what they went to school for.
Next question is from your perspective in looking for people. Let's say you've got a young hotshot, whatever you want to call them, that's in high school, and they come out and they've got good values. Good values being they don't expect anything for nothing. They're willing to give you a fair day's work for a fair day's pay. They're going to show up each and every day. How quickly would you hire somebody, or at least give them an opportunity, if they came with just what credentials were normal when we were younger?
I would. I mean, if we had to work, I'd jump.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because somebody that's a hard worker and is good ethics and things like that, you can train them. So if they're going to show up every day and they're going to work hard and they're going to do what you tell them, they don't necessarily have to start off with that knowledge under their belt yet.
Right.
You can train them.
Right.
And you'll make money with them.
Right. And
so it's good. So I've talked to people, and I've never done this, but I've talked to them about it. People that have come to me and talked about being hired or wanting to work for us. And I said, "Come work for us for a week for free." And they're like, "What?" I goes, "Come work for a week for free."
Right.
And they're like, "Well, why would I do that?" And if somebody agreed to it, and I actually did it, I would pay them. But I wouldn't tell them that up front.
Right.
And the reason is because however you work for free is how you're going to work for money. Not everybody. There's a small percentage of people out there that are actually money driven. You know what I
Right.
mean? I can be money driven. You can be money driven.
Right.
But when you go help your buddy roof his house on the weekend, however you're going to work there, you're going to work during the week. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
It does. It does.
So if somebody can come and work for you, invite them over to your house, and somebody that's going to be a future employer, something, hey, come and help me roof my house this weekend or whatever. They come over and they don't know nothing about roofing,
Right.
but they bust their butt trying to do it.
Right.
That's how he's going to work regardless.
Right. Another thing I found out in hiring people, whether they're young people or they're a bit older, birds of a feather flock together. If you've got a hard worker, he's going to associate in his off time,
That's correct.
in his free time, with people that are like-minded. I'm not a drinker.
All right.
I don't really have. There's no future for me going out with people that drink.
Exactly.
Now, I'm not condemning somebody for drinking, but we have less in common, right?
That's correct.
I want to be sober. I want to come home. I want to enjoy my family life. So birds of a feather, most definitely, they most definitely flock together.
Yep.
So one thing that Boss Tool is big on is American made. We have a 1,000,000% commitment to everything we do has to be American made. This has been quite the undertaking for us to find people that do what we need. They come alongside us and partner, whether it's an injection molding, which MCG Plastics in Bay City, they do for us, or it's our titanium high tech in Detroit, Michigan. How does American made, from your opinion, benefit the construction industry?
Well, American made goes way deeper than that, but it goes, it's a national thing. That's a global thing. You know what I mean? So, I can tell you, American made stuff. I'll use the electrical industry.
Sure.
So right now, there's just an influx of Chinese product light fixtures, as an example. They're terrible, but there's not a ton of American companies out there doing it.
Right.
So there's a company in Royal Oak that does they make some high intensity lights for like gas stations and things like that. Their quality, if you were to put the quality next to the stuff that we get from overseas, it's not even close. Their light, so a LED light fixture, they'll tell you it's supposed to have 50,000 hours.
Right.
A Chinese made, in my career, I shouldn't be replacing those, and we're replacing them after 2 years. Not because they burned out; they've just stopped working. And versus an American-made company, it's totally opposite. I mean, the quality is way different in the United States and versus what we're importing. If that makes sense, what I'm saying.
It makes total sense. We've been people have told us and said, "Hey, why don't you guys go overseas?" Well, I've got my own values. One of them is I don't want to help pay for the demise of the United States of
That's
America.
correct.
As of late, just what China, and I'm unapologetic for who I am. We are the greatest country on the face of the earth, but
That's
what
right.
China is attempting to do, how they're infiltrating our grid systems.
It's more than what people know.
Absolutely more than people know, and people really don't give a long, hard consideration to a portion of the money that I spend on products that are made by the Chinese, or a portion of the money that I spend on the product that is owned by the Chinese, even though it might be made here, goes to help them, and make no bones about it, to defeat the U.S.
That's straight up.
Now we've got to make, and I do think our quality is head and shoulders better than what China's going to do. At a minimum, if you're going to buy a product that's been outsourced, at least buy from our allies.
Correct.
I mean, I have to look at people's intelligence, and some people might not like this. If they don't like the way I'm talking about them being unintelligent buying Chinese, they don't have to listen. They can turn the station, right?
That's right.
I mean, I've got future generations to worry about. We're building a tool company on American made.
Correct.
Because that is what is truly important.
Yep.
And if it's in the construction world, if they're going to make something here, we've got to build something here for them to operate out of, right?
Correct. Yep.
All the money stays here at home. It's just like we sell stuff online. When people come online, or I do a video or a little short snippet, I always encourage people to buy locally. Let's say Cadillac, Michigan. I just pulled that out of my hat. When people are from Cadillac, Michigan, they need first and foremost to look and see if there's a dealer there that's offering our product. Why? Because that dealer there, they're the people that are going to fund the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the Little League team. Keep the money locally. Now, I'm glad to sell them a hammer if nobody's in the area. But I would rather them find somebody there and say, hey, you guys need to check with Boss Tool because you guys, these are great products.
Right.
So I think we're on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much benefit to buying American. I just think the American public needs to realize, and the comment I made earlier about the government getting involved in the trades, the government is very good at spending money. I just wish they would spend money on, let's say, an advertising campaign to show that the trades are cool.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Not a subsidy, but just show these young people, as you gave an illustration, you went to work and you didn't have a tuition bill, right?
Right.
You were making money right out of the gates. Instead of accumulating 75 or 150 or 225,000 in debt, you're making money day one. And it didn't take you too long in the scheme of things to figure out, I can go in business for myself, and I can do something really special for my family. Speaking of family, are you married? Do you have kids? Were you raised in the area? Tell us about that.
So I am married. I've been married for 19 years this year. So I didn't get married until I was 39. So I was single up until 39. I had a girlfriend, but I didn't get married until 39. So I don't have any kids. The reason I didn't is because at 39, you go through that honeymoon stage for a few years, and if I started having kids, I'd be 70 years old sitting in the grandstands watching a football game. So that's the only reason why. But originally, we were born in Flint. I lived in Flint until 1970, then we moved to Millington area in 1970, and I live in Vassar Township right now.
What's your wife's name?
Deb.
Deb.
Yep.
So what did you used to do for fun prior to 39 years old, and what do you do for fun now?
Well, before that was a whole different life. My passion and hobby, other than work, don't get me wrong, I enjoy the contracting business. I don't have anything bad to say about it. It's been great to me. I really enjoy what we do and all that kind of stuff. So, but everybody has a hobby or they have another passion that they like to do.
Right.
So my passion has always been automotive, anything gasoline, automotive, bike, motorcycles, boats, whatever. And
can I stop you right there?
Sure.
I drive past Mark's business, and over the years, I drive by, and he's sandblasting the frame of a car, or he's got his boat out there. He truly is what do we call it? Motorhead, motor freak.
Sure.
So keep going. Keep going.
So I did all that stuff before I was married, and then when I met my wife, she's actually been was part of it. So it's not uncommon for me to come home and my wife will go, "Hey, look at this car. You need to go buy this one." Or so she's on board with all that, and we have a lot of fun together.
So you've got a boat.
Sure.
It's a big boat.
It is.
It's a long boat.
Mm-hmm.
Does it go fast, or does it just go like they call it knots? Does it go like 5 knots?
We don't do anything in knots because knots is lower than mile per hour.
Okay. So what is it? A performance boat?
Yeah. So I have actually 2 boats. So I have a 33-foot Ocean Express catamaran. That boat's a 102 mile an hour boat.
A what?
102.
Have you ever run at 102?
Oh, yep.
What does it feel like on water to go 102 miles an hour?
So people ask me that all the time. The only thing I can tell you is roll the window down in your car and stick your head out, and that's about it. But most people, the average guy in a boat's probably doing 45, 50 miles an hour, fishing boat, whatever. But if I were to take you for a ride, up at about 70 miles an hour, you're going to be a little white-knuckled. After about a half hour, it'll be no big deal, and then the next jump will be about 100. At 100, you're going to be the same thing over again. But it's as long as you're in the right water and it's smooth out and everything, you're going to be fine.
So this boat you've got, this catamaran, you don't take it out on a local farm pond? You don't take it out on the smaller lakes around here like Cat Lake, Shea Lake, Murphy Lake, or anything like that?
No.
What kind of waters do you run this thing on?
Well, if I'm going to go locally, we'll go up to the bay. Lake Huron.
Bay being
Lake and Bay City. Yeah, Lake Huron.
So it's Lake Huron.
Yeah.
So this is a bigger puddle of water.
Yeah.
You can pick up some speed.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. So the inland lakes, there is a speed limit.
Is there?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So inland lake.
I shouldn't say I would.
Inland lake is 55 miles an hour. Once you get out in the Great Lakes, it's unlimited. You go as fast as you want. There's no speed limit. So the only reason that we go to the bay, because it's local, I can be up there in a half hour and be getting in the water. if you give me the option, I'm going to go to Lake Charlevoix or Torch Lake or something like that,
Right.
just because it's a nicer area. But
I've got a friend in the Saginaw area. I got a couple. One of the guys has passed away, but they've got a race. I think, and the way they explain it, my one friend's he just sold a helicopter.
Will gas.
Yeah. These guys play in the big leagues, and they're talking about this race. Do you know anything about it? I mean, that they wanted the guy with the helicopter to film them racing around Lake Huron, Lake Michigan, all the big lakes.
Yes. Yep.
Now
that's a whole different level, but yeah.
I thought I had heard that's like 130 miles an hour or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Well, that's crazy.
They'll run, those boats will run between 150 and 180.
So what happens if you hit a bluegill in the water or a little
You're
perch?
not going to know it. If you actually hit the water yourself, you're just going to skip. But
what would happen? Not that it's going to happen. You're running 100 miles an hour, and you happen to step off the boat for one reason or another. What would happen?
So, first of all, if you're going to go that fast, make sure you have the proper safety equipment on. Meaning, at that speed, you're probably going to have a helmet on and a life vest that's a little bit different than the orange life vest that everybody wears. But anyways, at 150 miles an hour, you're going to skip like a stone until you slow down and drop in the water. It's usually I'm going to use an example on a motorcycle. So somebody that wrecks a motorcycle and slides down the asphalt, that's probably not going to hurt you. It'll give you a little road rash. That's about it. It's the abrupt stop that hurts you. So same thing with a boat.
So you don't want to be coming into the dock too fast.
No. So the skipping across the water, you might sprain something. You could break an arm or something like that. But as long as you don't hit anything, you're probably going to walk away from it.
I got a couple boats.
It's the abrupt. So it's just like jumping off an airplane.
Right.
It's the fall isn't going to kill you. It's that abrupt stop.
Right. Just so you know, I've got a couple boats. I've got a 16-foot boat and I've got a 12-foot boat. I think that we're in a different league.
No, just get as long as you're out in the water and having fun. That's all that matters.
Right.
So back to that. I picked up another hull, one that's 5 feet longer than the one I have now, and I'm rigging it right now. It never has been rigged, so it doesn't have any engines or anything. So I'm rigging it. That one will be a 130 mile an hour boat. Then I'm going to sell the other one. But
okay, back up because I do have boats, but I don't understand all this terminology. What is the hull and how do you rig it?
So the fiberglass portion of it is like what you would see with no seats in it.
Okay,
no engines in it, no nothing. So I bought what they call a blank hull. It has nothing in it. It's just gel coated white on the outside and nothing. So I have to interior it,
you got to do
steering and everything.
Basically a ground up.
Yep.
Is what we call it, and you're going to make it just exactly what you want.
Sure.
Are you going to try to get speed out of this?
Yeah. It should be 130 mile an hour boat. This one should be.
You know, I like you, but I really, if you offered me a ride in that boat at 130 miles, no, absolutely not.
I would just let you drive. You can do whatever you want then.
130.
And I'll guarantee you that by the time the day's over, you're approaching it. You just do it.
130 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's moving.
Yeah.
That's almost as fast as...
But you don't do that very often. It's like buying a 200 mile an hour Corvette. You don't drive it like that. You drive it, most
so
times.
How much, when we're talking about these boats, it's very interesting to me. How much fuel does this thing drink? I mean, let's say, how big a fuel tank does it got?
This has two 100-gallon tanks.
Are they diesel or are they gasoline?
No, gasoline.
So if you had two 100-gallon, my math says that's 200 gallons.
Yep.
If you pull out on the bay in Lake Huron and you say, tell you and the wife, we're going to go play, how much is left in the end in that tank at the end of the day?
Again, you're not going to be able to drive it around like that all the time because you're just not going to be able to go that fast all the time. But anyways, I'll give you an example. So I filled up a boat one year and I went up to Lake Charlevoix and I boated up there for a week. My dad lived in East Jordan, so I was up there at his place and I boated for a week.
Sure.
Charlevoix is 18 miles long. I mean, we were only driving 45, 50, 60 miles an hour. We very seldom. We're just dropping a hammer and going. Anyways, so we boated up there for a week. I came back on the 4th, boated Bay City for the weekend. The next weekend, my father-in-law had a boat in Port Huron, so I went over there and boated with him for the weekend, and I had a quarter tank of gas left, and I still done out of that 100 gallons.
So it likes.
So it's not. It does, but it's not crazy. You know what I mean? And as an example, I met a guy up in Charlevoix this past year, Tony Deanna, that owns McDonald's in Frankenmuth.
Yep.
So I was over to his place, and one of his friends had a 50-foot, 5-engine outboard boat. And he told me when it got. He's checking it. That sucked 275 gallons an hour. An hour. If you're running it. So
that's some serious consumption right there of fuel,
that's
isn't it?
crazy. Yeah, and that, on the lake, that's $4 a gallon. So you can do the math on that one.
So I know in the past we've talked, and I know you're involved. You've been down to Bike Week in Florida, right?
Mm-hmm, sure.
And I've seen the bikes that you've built, ground up. They're absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Your wife enjoys that too?
Oh, yeah.
Now, do you trailer the bikes down, or you ride them down?
If you're going down to Bike Week in February, you're trailing them down.
Oh, yeah. Kind of chilly here in the northern country.
Yeah. And it might be 30 degrees when you get there, too. Who knows? But yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Is that an annual trip for you?
Not anymore.
No?
I did 15 years straight, and I haven't been down there now for probably 10. But
another thing that I think that you're involved in is the car show in Vassar. Is that correct?
Yeah, so me and my wife took it over 5 years ago, and since then it was me and her with some help, and since then we've started the Shifters Car Club. So the Shifters Car Club now actually runs the show. I'm the president of the car club, but there's probably 15 people in the car club right now. So they're actually those 15 people are actually what runs the show now. It's starting to expand, and so you need more help.
And obviously, it's in warm weather. Is it
It's
springtime, midsummer, or
August?
And
First week August. First weekend.
First week in August.
Yep.
And I know not only Vassar has a car show, but Frankenmuth, which is a town that's relatively close to us,
Yep.
and I call it a tourist trap.
Yep.
You know, everybody likes to go to Frankenmuth for Frankenmuth chicken and the Bavarian-style homes and all that stuff. But
Yep.
that's a big event. People really do.
Oh yeah. So our the Vassar Car Show is August 2nd this year, and it'll have about 400 cars, which is pretty good for a small town. Frankenmuth will have 2,000. So that's there's a difference there. But
Do you find people are bringing more of the older muscle cars, or are there some guys bringing trucks, or what do you
no,
see?
you get everything. You get what's happening now. So you get the older generation is starting to get older, die off, whatever, and so you still getting the 30s up to 50s, 60s cars like the older generation, but you're starting to get some of the younger guys in now, and they'll tell you that they like the cars out of the 80s. So you got to kind of accommodate those to bring them along. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, a car in the 80s isn't old. But to a kid was born in 2015 or whatever, it's old. You know?
Absolutely.
So, so you get a whole gamut of
In these moments, last few moments we got right here, what advice would you give if you could go back to you? You've been your own boss for 40 years. If you could go back to your late 20s, I believe, or mid 20s when you went into business, what advice would you give yourself? coming through life, starting in business, marital advice, governmental advice. We're just looking for advice. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I'm good to give advice.
Oh no, I like I said. Earlier I said some people might like my opinion. Some people might not like what you say. They can always turn the station.
No, exactly. I don't know. The only advice I have, I don't know if I'm going to tell you that I have really any regrets. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Are there things that I would change throughout your career? Sure, but they're not. I can't look back. I can look back at mistakes I made, so you don't make them again.
Right, I agree.
But I can look forward at how I can move forward, how I can make more money, or how I can make my life better, or whatever else. Or as you get older, your attitude changes a little bit.
Oh, I would agree.
So, when I was early 20s, you're worried about tomorrow or whatever, what's going to happen. And as you get older, you start to worry more about your family, about this, about that. So your priorities change a little bit. So I'm not going to tell you that I have huge regrets. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. People ask that a lot, and it's not. I'll give you an example of a regret in business. So in 2008, when everything crashed.
Yep.
As a business owner, you hold a poker face.
Yeah.
So when you're talking to people, they don't know what's going on back here.
Right.
And so in 2008, we got hit hard. Mm-hmm. I got there was several businesses that either went out of business or just didn't pay us because they were broke or whatever else. And you're talking to the tune of $200,000-$300,000. You know what I mean?
Right.
And some people you can just eat it and move on. And don't get me wrong. I mean, that's what happened. But it takes you years to recover from that. And the only thing that, if I had a regret, was that I didn't do a better job on paperwork. Meaning that, not that that still doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to get paid,
right?
But maybe had a better chance at it, if that makes sense. But as far as, somebody that wants to get in the business, just like you with the hammer business.
Yep.
I mean, you went after it. You know what I mean? You do what it takes to get there.
Right.
You put a plan together and marketing, development, everything.
Yep.
And when it starts off, it's you by yourself. It's you and your wife or whatever. Absolutely. And you're putting in whatever it takes to make it happen. And if you have the attitude, you will make it happen. Look at to where you started. I remember when you started doing the hammers. I remember when you came up with the concept. You stopped in my office one day and were showing me the head on it. And to where it's at now, you are driving this company. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you got your boys and you got people involved with you, but you're the guy behind it. And if people can understand that hard work and that you move and you change with what has to happen, you're going to make it and you're going to do all right. You know what I mean?
Well, thanks for the encouragement and noticing what we've done. But I think duplication, right now where I'm trying to duplicate myself because there's no guarantee that I'm going to be here tomorrow.
No.
And I make this point with our team members, whether it's guys that are outside the family that work with us as team members or my family members, and say, you guys, this is what needs to happen in trying to bring leaders through the ranks because we do have a great future.
Oh.
We're a company that's going to stand firm, as I said earlier, on American-made innovation. We want to show people how to save time so they can not only they can make more money for themselves, but they can take that money that they've made and spend it on the families they've got because they're going to have more time using our tools. There's absolutely no doubt about that.
I'm a guy that hopes that you make $1 billion. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I am not a guy that hey, Dan bought himself a Corvette. He's making too much money. I'm not helping him out. No, I'm coming over and you're giving me a ride in the Corvette. You know what I'm saying? So but I think that people, and I'm going to use you as an example because if you treat other people decently, you treat people in the community decently, you give back to the community, and you can still do that and make money. Mm-hmm. Just because you're making money doesn't make you a bad person. If that makes sense, what I'm saying.
Right.
So I think that you've done very well. I think you're a great entrepreneur, and I think you can be duplicated. I'm not talking hammers. I'm talking other businesses that somebody could use you as an example and do something on their own. Well, so you've been a great example to the community and other people if they're paying attention.
I appreciate that. And making money, and I think you would agree, is not the priority. It's out there, and to be
that's a byproduct.
It's a byproduct, and to be successful and to be able to help people that we see in need, to be have integrity, always have integrity, to do what we say we're going to do, and just
back to I gotta say one thing. We were talking about Henry Horning Construction.
Yeah.
So when if it wasn't for Henry, I probably would not be in business where I'm at today. He didn't give me anything, but he just gave me support, pushed me, whatever, advice, whatever. And so he's, Henry's in his 70s right now, late 70s.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for Henry back in, the late 80s, early 90s, I might not be here myself.
Right. So. To piggyback that, and that is so good to give credit to people that have helped you along. I've got a guy by the name of Clem Robinson who trained me. I mean, that guy, I give him all the credit for the tricks that he showed me in the trade. And then beyond that, I remember walking into a general contractor's office. The gentleman's name was Mark Woolgas, Woolgas Construction out of Saginaw, Michigan. And I told him, I says, I'll show you how to get your jobs done fast, right and fast. Yep. And so I so-called cut my teeth with Woolgas Construction,
which is tough.
Oh yeah. They were very, very demanding. There were absolutely no excuses. They were they were tough, and I give them credit because if I hadn't been given that opportunity, like you, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at today. Not that I'm anybody, but I've been able to provide for my family.
That's right.
Raise a very nice family, and my kids have given me grandkids, and my wife, my high school sweetheart. We've been married for, I think, 42 years. She could scream at me if I get the math wrong. It was 82. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's going to be 43 years this year. So, there's a lot to be said for hard work, having a vision, being able to dream
That's right.
I talk to people about dreaming. I think in our society, people have forgot. I don't know if they've got the ability inside them how to dream.
That's right.
I lay awake at night. I wake up in the middle of the night
with an idea.
Wow. I've got a brand new idea. We got new things we're bringing out in 2025. I was just showing people my new idea that I got, and I was in the shop 3 days ago. Yeah, I think it could be 4 days ago. And I'm in the shop and I'm looking at something, and all of a sudden, bing, it popped in my head. I immediately took that idea, and not immediately, but throughout the day, that day I went to the engineering people that I use and started explaining to them. That's R&M Engineering out of Clio, Michigan. If any of you guys are looking for engineering, these guys are phenomenal. And went in there and talked to Lee Tinnen, the owner there, and said, Lee, what do you think of this? And they don't roll their eyes now because we've had a limited success in our hammers and other tools that we offer. And he says, And yesterday, email, they sent through the drawings and stuff, and I think it's something that's very doable. But people need to dream.
Of course.
Nobody's going to dream for you.
Nope.
They might dream about you or have a nightmare about you, but nobody's going to dream for you. Nobody's going to reach for goals for you. You have to reach for them goals for yourself.
Right.
You absolutely have to make it happen, and you can make it happen.
There's no question.
I believe this goes back to patriotism, America.
Right.
Man, we live in a country that allows us to dream, chase our dreams. Do we have our faults? Absolutely. The country's got problems. Every country has problems.
Yep.
But by and large, not by and large, we are the very best country there is.
No question about it.
It is a real treat and an honor to be born and raised as an American.
And there's no question about it when you see as many people coming here.
What
tells you right there that it's the best country in the world. Yeah,
we don't have great point. We don't have people running out of the United States of America. We have them clamoring to get in here.
That's right.
By any means possible, right? And why is that? Because they think they're going to get beaten down here? No, this is still the land of opportunity. I've never seen or never heard. Maybe you have. You ever heard of anybody trying to run to get into China?
No.
Have you ever heard of anybody trying to run to get into Russia?
No.
It's the United States of America. Now we need to tweak this thing a little bit, and I'll stand firm on this. There needs to be an orderly manner in which they come in.
That's right.
I mean, I have no objections to legal immigration.
I'm all for opening Ellis Island back up.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. You ever been to Ellis Island? Ever been there?
No, I have not.
So I was out there and toured it.
Okay.
And when people came through, I mean, when you came in the United States, most majority came through. There's other places they came in through too, but you were documented. You were checked for diseases. You were checked for all this other stuff, and if you had any of that, they quarantined you.
Right.
But eventually, you got in. You know, if something was wrong with you, they just sent you back.
Right.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with it.
In the United States was protected way more by that than anything else.
Right.
No, I think that with this the administration change right now. Hopefully this goes more than just 4 years, but hopefully it goes into 8 years or even more. I think the opportunities for what you're talking about right now with entrepreneurs and new people and people wanting to get into the construction business and everything is a great opportunity right now.
There's no doubt in running off on politics or whatever you might call it. The last 4 years have been more detrimental to this country than anybody can imagine.
Yep.
We've destroyed. We're giving up liberties hand over fist, and people are not standing and taking. They're not taking a stand. I guess you should say. I am so excited about them securing our border.
Yep.
I had an hour and 40-minute conversation with someone yesterday who was anti this new administration coming in, and I said, I'm going to give you time to talk. It's going to be uninterrupted, and then you're going to let me talk.
Sure.
A country without a border is a country without freedom.
That's right.
I have locks on the door of my home. Why? Because maybe you're not welcome in.
Sure.
I want to be able to let the proper people in the same way with the borders for our country. We want to be able to have these people vetted. Why should we have, and not all of them are bad, but there is a small percentage that they have ill intent, or they have crimes that they were in prison for, or running from the law, and they show up in the U.S. Well, nobody can explain how that is good for our country, good for our spouses, good for our children, and even good for us or the workforce. That's another thing that I don't understand is we've got organized labor that wholeheartedly they support a party, and I don't know, they just think, well, this is for the working man. I want you to explain to me We've got illegals that are coming across the border that are taking our jobs, that are taking work away from your union members.
That's correct.
How does that does not add up?
No. Nope.
And nobody, I was born with common sense. And I think my dad and mom gave me a lot of common sense, and they taught me how to work hard. And that just doesn't stack up.
No.
These people, they need to come through in an orderly fashion. They need to be checked. They need to become profitable in
That's right.
the citizenry of the United States of America.
That's right.
So
we need to vet those people to make sure that they're going to be an asset to our country, not a liability.
Well, what would you say if somebody said, well, you're just mean-spirited, you're just mean-hearted?
No, I'm not.
I don't think you are.
No, but I'm just...
It makes common sense, right?
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to go to work to pay for somebody that's here illegally. And my heart goes out to the families that have lost people to criminals.
That's right.
That should have never been here.
That's right.
And we got a bunch of mealy mouths out there.
That's right.
We got a bunch of mealy mouths out there that are afraid to say it like it is.
That's right.
Well, I'm hopeful.
I hold, in those people that have lost family members or whatever, and it's bigger, it's more widespread than what people know. There's only been a few of those people that have been publicized, and it's worse than that.
Oh, I think.
But people that are in control right now should be held responsible for that, because they are responsible for it.
Well, the Main Street media, there's no doubt they're doing everything they can to squash the actual reports that are there.
It's no question.
And I don't understand their justification for such. I know if they lost a family member, they would be sorrowful like everybody else, right?
Yep.
But this new administration, I think, is going to try. It's going to be a monumental task to right the ship, because in business, I think we've found in the commercial construction industry, the last few years, people have been very, very, very tentative about releasing funds. There's a certain sense of optimism out there right now.
That's correct.
I know we're getting more requests on our commercial construction side for numbers for design builds. And these people are thinking about doing a $10 million expansion on a building. What numbers do we need to use for you to cover the project?
Same thing is happening to us right now.
That's awesome.
And since December, our commercial requests for bids, I'm talking like the malls and the K Jewelers out there and all that kind of stuff, has increased 5 to 10-fold from what it was. So, yeah, straight up. That's exactly what's going on.
I was in a general contractor's office this past week in the last 3 or 4 days, and the conversation was, he says there's a much more optimism in the marketplace. We think these people are going to pull the trigger on making this deal happen. So
there's a sense of, since the election, there's a sense of relief. You sense a sense of relief from people.
A person with common sense had no idea where we were. Well, no, I almost lied there. We knew where we were going with what they were doing. We were losing everything. We lost our standing in the world.
Yep.
The inflation rate. I'll tell you a little story. We've got beef cattle. And I haven't bought beef for 20 or 30 years. We always are butchering our own beef.
Sure.
Well, the wife went to the doctor or something, and they said, hey, you need to eat beef or whatever. And so she says, Dan, I'm going to make, so this is what they told me I had to do for a little while. And she said, I'm going to go grab some hamburger out of the freezer. She went to the freezer, and she came back. Guess what she said? We don't have no beef.
No, it ain't out.
And I said, it's fine. We got steers. We'll get them butchered and stuff like that. She says, why don't you run over to the meat market? I think it's called Mike's. Over Klasky's Market. Is it called?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, Mike's Meat Market.
Yeah.
And I've never been in there.
Yep.
The gentleman that used to run it was a gentleman by the name of Junior Klasky. You'd walk in there, and he'd always say, beautiful day.
Right.
It didn't matter if it was pouring rain. It was always a beautiful day.
Yep.
But anyway, so I said, I'll run over to the market, and I'll get some beef. So I ran over there and looked at in the meat case, and I said, you know what? I might as well, big spender as I am. I said, I might as well get a couple T-bone steaks while I'm there. So I remember seeing the guy weigh one up. It was 1.19 pounds. And I assumed the other one was about the same size. And I said, give me a couple pounds of that ground chuck there.
You're getting off your wallet.
Pardon?
You're getting off your wallet.
It was crazy. I burned a $50 bill. I walked out of there with 2 sacks of meat that I held in each hand, and they were just small sacks of meat, and I'm thinking, $50.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not that I'm anybody, but I'm farther along in life than my kids and people with young families, and I can afford, not that I want to afford it.
But you can.
But I can afford it. Right. And I'm thinking, this inflation is going to destroy people. So what caused inflation? First of all, for the administration coming in and shutting down energy exploration in this country, you could say unintelligent. I'm just going to say stupid. There was a purpose for that. Everything starts with energy. I don't care what you do. Right. If you're going to start a construction project, when they drop that bulldozer off to start stripping site, does that take energy?
Diesel fuel.
When you're getting Romax wire or any of your materials, how did that start? It started with energy. It's all input costs.
Right.
And so it's driving the final price that the end user is having to pay. I couldn't imagine, with the way things are right now, surviving on $20, $25 an hour and having a family.
Right.
I don't know how you would do it if you had any children. I just think that with this administration that we've got and what they've put forth in their platform and the energy exploration, cutting of the red tape, I mean, the list goes on, removing the illegals, maybe even our tax bill will go down. I know that there's a proposal in there that if stuff is manufactured here in the U.S., corporate tax rates are going to be 15%.
Right.
Now, it could be upwards of 25 or 30 now, and if they're going to cut it in half, you have to be not unintelligent, you have to be stupid not to come back to this country and make your stuff here. Because if we keep that money in that circle, locally for our villages and our communities or our state or our nation, if we keep the money here, it benefits everybody.
Of course.
It benefits you and I, our fellow citizens, and I do think there's a chance. But, people out there making that money, and I always encourage people to, if at all possible, start to dream. Yep. You can do it. You can go into business for yourself. I did it.
Yep.
I'm not no outstanding physical specimen, or I'm not a brainiac. I got, you know what? I get up every day, and I run headlong into a block wall.
Sure.
And I fall down, and I get up, and I
again.
might stand there for a minute dazed and say, man, that hurt. And I turn around and run the other way just as fast as I can. Mm-hmm. And eventually, guess what? I break through them barriers. I broke through some barriers in my life. And I think anybody can do that.
I do. I agree.
And I want my kids. I want my kids to have that that in themselves, that they've got that will to win, because right. I know they can do it. My kids are far smarter. They got their brains and their looks from their mother. They didn't get anything from me. So
there one other thing I was going to say is that when we were talking about like 2008 when things went south, I think one thing in business that people need to understand too is that back in 2008, when it's time to unload something to survive, let it go.
Right.
You can get it back.
Absolutely.
Those are just material things.
Material things.
So my business is what supports me, supports other people. That's it. So if something goes south,
right,
let it go.
Right. It's not.
You can always get it back.
Right. This life is not about money. They were laughing at me yesterday at MCG Plastics because I made the statement. I says, when I die, the last check I've got, I want to bounce. And they were laughing at me. I says, you know what? I don't want to have to go to the local welding shop and have them weld a hitch on my casket so right. I can haul the money in. And when I show up at the graveyard, let all them stiffs in there know, hey, I'm the richest guy here. I want to make a difference with my life.
Sure.
If I'm able to be successful and make, I guess, money, there's nothing wrong with making money,
Nope.
But have the wisdom to know how to use that money
That's
properly.
Right.
So, Mark, I want to thank you for your time.
No, appreciate it.
This has been a great little conversation. As is custom here at Boss Tool Company, what we're going to do now is we've got our Boss Blue Collar Skills Challenge.
Okay.
And we're going to step out here in the shop, and I'd like for you to run it and see what you can do.
I'm an electrician. I'm not a carpenter.
That's okay. It's all fun. It's a lot of laughs and giggles. When you're all done, we're going to give you a titanium hammer with your name engraved on it.
Perfect.
But once again, I do appreciate the time.
You bet.
I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
I
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it inviting me.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. So they're going to edit everything out by like 5 minutes.
Gentlemen, fantastic.
All right, guys, we're done with the podcast. We're out here. This is customary at Boss Tool Company. This is our Boss Blue Collar Challenge right here. It's a 6-foot platform that's going to see what kind of abilities a carpenter's got right here, that being Mark Cooper. So we've got competitors' hammers here. We've got our hammer here, our Pro Plus Series hammer, and we're going to give you the option of what to use. So we've got the nailing platform right here. We're going to start 3 16-penny nails in this thing. and we're going to put the hammer in the holster right here. Are we on 0 out there? We're ready to go. So I'm going to methodically go through this thing. I say methodically because I am relatively slow at this. So we're going to hit the button, extract the hammer. We're going to square a 90. Then we're going to drive in these 3 nails right here. Then we're going to put the button cap on. We're going to pop them in. We're going to spin it around, break it loose, hit the button, and we're done. You got 2 runs at it. We're going to see how you stack up against the other people that have been in the podcast. So first, the question that I've got for you, we want all this to be fair. I don't discourage anyone from using the hammer of their choice. What we have here is we've got titanium hammers. They're all lightweight. We've got a stiletto here. We've got a Martinez, and we've got a Boss. You're going to hit the button. You're going to square a 90. You're going to drive 3 nails in, put the button cap on, magnetically pop them in, and break the bolt loose. Which hammer you want to use? Like I said, I don't care which one you use. It's a timed event.
I'm going to use this one because I got to break that bolt loose.
Absolutely. I would agree with that. The other guys don't have it, right?
No, they don't.
We've got...
And I can't square with this hammer either, I don't think.
Nope.
This.
Nope. You can't.
I haven't done it yet, but
you can't square with a hammer. You can't put the button caps on, and you can't break the bolt loose.
So I'm going to put these 3 in first?
Yep, put them in. Just anywhere. Yep. 1.
I should have hit it harder.
Oh, yeah, give no regard to your fingers. You got 8 other ones. If you hurt a couple of them, it's no big deal.
No, I meant drive the nail in farther the first time.
Okay, put the hammer in the holster.
So it doesn't matter where I square it up?
No, just pull the hammer out and just put that in your right hand. Pull the hammer out, square 90. Just drop it over that edge, pull it in. There, that's 90. Is that cool or what?
Yeah.
You can square all the way across the 2x12 with a hammer. You're all ready to go. You're going to hit the button, square a 90, drive the 3 nails in, pop 3 cap nails in, break the bolt loose, and then get rid of the hammer in the holster, hit the button, and you're done. I'm saying somewhere around 6 seconds.
Yeah, right. I think 30. Okay, you ready?
Go.
Whoops. I knew it.
You're doing good.
I bent everyone over.
Put the cap. There you go. You're doing great. Break it loose.
Come on.
Drop the holster, hit the button. What do you got? You did good. Okay, so
What was it?
31.
Told you.
Okay,
You
so
did it in 18.
that's the first run. Okay.
You know, it's been a long time since I swung a hammer.
Yeah, that's okay. All right, ready to go? You guys ready? You filming? All right, your second run. This is the one you clean it up. You got your safety glasses on, safety first. Now you were at 30 seconds. Let's see what you can do. So get your hands in tight, hit the button, and let her roll. Pretty good. Put the cap on. You did good. Break it loose. Drop it in. Hit the button. Hit the button.
29.
You shaved off how much time?
9 seconds.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
been a lot of fun.
No.
Now we're going to get you a nice custom titanium hammer. You can go out there and you can practice. So next time you come around, instead of it being 21,
So I'm gonna make
I think
my
the
own
time was
stand.
21, isn't it? You're probably going to be down around 15.
So I'm going to make my own stand and start doing this? Is what you're saying?
Why wouldn't you? So, once again, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a lot of fun.
Hey, if you guys want to make your own stand, blueprints are available at bosshammerco.com. I think you should be able to get them online. Hey guys, I just wanted to thank you for taking the time to listen to the podcast. Once again, thanks to Mr. Mark Cooper, owner of Cooper Electric out of Vassar, Michigan. We sure have enjoyed his time and his input. Be sure to tune in the next time as we continue to celebrate the trades and the craftsmen. The craftsmen out there are definitely not celebrated enough. And to you and your family out there, may God bless you and all your endeavors. And keep in mind, the most important thing in life is your families. So make sure you take care of them. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Boss Hammer Co. for exclusive behind-the-scenes content, extended interviews, and product breakdowns and more. You can follow us on Instagram at Boss Hammer Co. for daily inspiration, sneak peeks of upcoming episodes, and all things Boss Tool Company. To shop Boss Tools and for more resources, visit our website at bosshammerco.com. Hey folks, if you've enjoyed today's episode, share it with your friends and tag us on social media. Finally, if you guys got any questions or topics that you want us to cover, if you want me to discuss, maybe even controversial stuff, drop us an email or comment on our YouTube channel or our Instagram page. Thanks, guys.